Hello guys, I'm Elias. We're here in my first video on this beautiful Annie Sky channel. Let's go with the anime of the blue demon Ao no Exorcist. Like and subscribe, and remember that if you don't do that, I'm going to steal your mothers. Let's get to this. I know what they will enjoy. The anime starts with a round table, and they talk about a zombie experiment in which they have secret agents infiltrated in those experiments to spy on the scientists. And they talk about the secret group still does not have a container for Satan. And they say that Phalus has a portal where many demons accumulate. And that is why the earth is very contaminated. And they say that at this rate, the entire population will end up seeing demons. And they say that if the demons get stronger every time the humans feel it, the earth will be chaos. And they talk about a possible traitor, and so that they do not suspect Phalus. We see how he says that he is using his own body to try to stop the demons. And in the classroom we see Yukio saying that he has a message from Phalus, saying that they will advance the Exorcist exam and that they will have to submit the application again. After Okamura tells Yukio that if he were to return late, and they talk about the dinner that Yukio eats, and that it is not that good. And he leaves after talking to Okamura and Shiemi, and she asks him, our protagonist, what's wrong with him, since he has a slightly unfriendly expression with his brother, and says that he's surely looking to be distant with Shiemi, and says that he's like this because he hates losing him. Then we see Suguro and Kamiki talking about the arrival of the Exorcists, and they think that they're surely going to talk about the arrival of the Exorcists. And Kamiki tells her that if she's not thinking about being one, and she says that she emphasizes with him, because she lost her goal and people around her, and Kamiki says that she's going to be an exorcist. And he says that she changed, and the meeting with Mephisto begins, and they talk about the activity of the demons in recent months. And they say that the exorcist exam will be next year, that it will be in a month and a half. Also, that they will increase the quotas of the exorcists drastically, and demons appear in the middle of the presentation of one of the teachers that Mephisto has that the Vatican sent, and says that it is the precise moment for him to show up. And we see that he is an air demon of a very high level, since the ritual he is invoking requires a high capacity, one of the Archknights known as Lightning Lewin. And we see how the room is full of students, including exorcists. And it is logical since they want to learn about lightning, and in what he teaches the class. We see that he has a somewhat strange attitude, and says a phrase that makes the entire class doubt, saying, "Make friends with the demons," causing almost everyone to leave except the main characters. And that Okaruma finds strange what he said, and we see that they go to a room that is very dark and smells bad, and uses a spell to make it clean. To which Suguro is impressed. We already see that this character is going to be surprised by each thing that Lightning does, after Lewis gives him some advice that children should know each other better to work well as a team. One of the demons makes a small cut to Rui, to which he says that he is going to do an exorcism to the demons, to which Suguro continues surprised by the mastery he has of the demons, and Lightning says that he read about him, that he learns the lethal spells by heart, and says that he will be a good exorcist, and he answers that he only wants to defeat Satan and reunite with his family, that is his ambition, and tells him that he is not clear about his priorities. Suguro asks him what his goal is, and Lightning says that he has no dreams or grand ambitions or a sad past or anyone to avenge, and the most he can say is that he loves this world. And Suguro gets on his knees and tells him that he wants to be his disciple, and everyone is surprised, and he says no, since Lightning is not good at teaching, and continues insisting on being at least an assistant, and Lightning says that he will be his disciple if he passes him the red demonic sword at the end. Lightning. He gives him as a task to clean the room. After they clean the room, Lightning and Suguro talk about some cards that have invocations, and says that after cleaning the room he can take the sword, and says that that is Okamura's sword. It is not good to joke with it. Then he drops the box with the cards, and we see how one of the cards is summoned, and Suguro has to take care of the cards before a demon comes out. He realizes that it is a test, and we see how he struggles with the cards, and we see a card that is in Hindi, and he does not know how to counter it. Then he sees a firearm to face the demon, and it turns out that the soul is not really a firearm. According to later, we see how lightning destroys the card and says that the most basic thing to stop this invocation is to destroy its circle also by exorcising the card, and he says that he thought he was smarter. And we look at him with a face of disappointment to finally accept him as his disciple, and then we see how he tells him to continue cleaning the room. Then we see how Rui leaves, and Lintning tells him that let him touch his sword, and he sees how he really likes demons, saying that they look like love, and he leaves thinking a little strange that he is, and we see that Kuro is outside waiting for him. We see Lightning talking to Shura about the demons that are unclassified, and they talk about the mark that Shura has on his chest, and we see Yukio very thoughtful thinking about his brother, and says that he passed the order exams, that his case is a hereditary case, and analyzes how to awaken the powers first with Todo and then with Lucifer, and says that the key feeling is fear, and says that he has to generate that fear of life or death, and makes an invocation where he almost drowns to try to generate that fear. We see Rui with his friends. We see him talking to them, where Shima tries to guess about what Suguro is doing, and says that he can't be Lightning's manager, and Koneko says that she is studying in system development to capture demons with the cell phone camera, and Shima will take the Night and Tamer exams and says that he is going to make a little effort, even though studying is boring for him, and he arrives at Suguro to eat with them, and says that he is going to help them study, and says that he has to get used to Lightning, since he has things that he doesn't have, and the boys, they are surprised since they didn't see it coming from him. Then we see Yukio, who is about to jump from a very high floor and says that he will spend his life fearing himself and the Illuminati, and he jumps and says that he is scared and that he doesn't want to die. Then we see Shiemi talking to Amahara, and he says that he doesn't want her to be an exorcist anymore, since it is a very dangerous job. Then we see Rui and Shiemi talking near the mission, and he says that she doesn't feel anything for him, and they meet a demon exorcist who gives him a mission. He tells him where the holy water and the house are, and he leaves, and they talk about which Meister they want to belong to. And Rui says Knight for the sword, and she is still thinking about it. And Rui realizes that there is something in the house and falls to the ground, and we see the boys how they are hurt. Rui tries to remove the stick that has his leg, but if he removes it, the whole place will fall. Shiemi tries to ask for help, but nobody listens to her, and they talk about their captain. He will return, and that he almost does not listen to his brother, and Shiemi says that his mother is also worried it is normal that they are, because they are his family, and then he says that he is cold, and we see how Rui do tricks with his blue flame. He tries to do the form of Kuro, and then he says that he likes flames. We see a romantic scene of our demon Rui, and he says that they are warm and pretty. We see how the two blush, and Rui says that he only likes him as a friend, and that she cares about both of them as much as his brother. And he says that he does not like them as a couple, and she says no, that she is still a child, and she realizes what Rui thinks, that he likes her as a couple. And they see how little demons come out of where they are, and he decides to blow up the place, and in the end, they end up leaving, and then she ends up running away in shame. Rui talks to the exorcist, who commissioned the house to him, tries to apologize, but he scolds him. Then Shiemi comes back and says that he has to take care of his leg, and remembers a flashback where she is helping him. And then we see Yukio surrounding him, blue flames around, wondering what happened next. He looks to his right and sees a gun and decides to point it at his head, saying that he should have done that from the start, and starts yelling for the monster to show itself. But his phone rings suddenly. He answers it. And that's it, guys, is the summary of Chapter 1 and 2 of The Blue Exorcist. Remember to subscribe and like and comment, because if not, I will appear at night, I will eat you, and I will marry your mothers. Goodbye. This has been Elias.